is a production of the Department of Broadcasting and Journalism at Western Illinois University.
Live from Salee Hall in high definition. News 3 starts now.
After a fire destroys several local apartments, residents are working on getting their lives back to normal. How local organizations are helping out ahead.
Plus, Republican nominee Donald Trump gathered quite the crowd at the state capitol last night. Hear what the voters have to say.
And results from a nonprofit news organization study may surprise you. That story ahead.
But we begin with the Storm Team 3 severe weather coverage.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Live at 4. Weather has been mild for the last few days, but that could all change less than 24 hours from now. According to the National Weather Service, Macomb falls into an area of enhanced risk for severe storms tomorrow. This means a great chance of damaging winds, hail, and perhaps even tornadoes, a stark contrast to weather we're seeing today. Nicholas Stewart has been tracking this storm, and he has more. Nick?
Yeah, it's definitely one of those classic November, late, season type of severe weather events. Not quite a slam dunk for a forecast, but it's definitely becoming more and more evident we're going to be dealing with a very active day tomorrow. Taking a look at the regional forecast right now, the satellite radar composite, very quiet across the entire Midwest. Our low pressure center is sitting off across southeastern Colorado. Very weak right now, but that is expected to change over the course of the next 24 hours as it really begins to deepen, strengthen as it approaches Iowa through the next 12 hours. Again, you mentioned the enhanced risk. Here's what the map looks like from the Storm Prediction Center. For southern Iowa, northern Missouri, and west central Illinois, we're under the gun for a pretty substantial severe weather event tomorrow, assuming everything happens as accordingly. And that's what the storm pressure will look like tomorrow afternoon as it moves into our area. We'll take a full look at your forecast and get all those details in just a couple minutes. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Nick. Many Campus Point residents are in the process of moving after a fire damaged several apartments last Friday. News 3's Dakota Sherwin surveys the damage and speaks to some of those residents pushed out of their homes.
This is the aftermath of the fire that occurred on the third-floor apartment complex at Campus Point last Friday. The fire department was able to put it out, but not before severe damage took place.
I heard yelling and hammering. There was smoke in my room. There was running around upstairs. There was a cop back walking around.
Several of the rooms sustained heavy damage, and residents lost many of their belongings.
My ceiling actually fell down in the bathroom. I had to, my bedroom furniture was pretty soaked, but I'm trying to work that out.
Right now, I don't know yet. I have to check my stuff because I got my printer and my other stuff in the room. I need to check if everything works as usual.
Now, with the severe fire and smoke damage that occurred on the third floor, there was also severe water and smoke damage that occurred on the second floors and below.
We had lots of water damage and some smoke damage. Mostly a lot of paper things are lost, a lot of notes, books, that kind of thing.
After the incident was over, many groups stepped up to help however they could. Campus Students for Christ right next door opened their doors and let anyone who was without a place to sleep that night join them. The complex directors and insurance companies were also quick to respond to residents.
I have renters insurance through State Farm. They're doing an excellent job of helping me transition and cover the loss.
The complex contacted us that night, if we need somewhere to stay, and they told us that they could, by Monday, they would have somewhere for us. They did keep us up to date. They sent out emails to let people know. They actually did a very good job. They took care of us pretty well. I'm actually pretty happy with it.
They moved us to a new apartment, so we're in the process of transitioning from the affected unit to the new one. So they're working with us. They were very prompt about it. So yes, they were pretty well responded.
Reporting for News 3, I'm Dakota Sherwin.
Thanks, Dakota. There is no report as to the amount of damage that was caused.
The city of Macomb is still on the search to replace City Administrator Dean Torreson's position. At Monday night City Council meeting, Mayor Mike Inman told News 3 the contender for City Administrator declined the offer. Inman says they will start the search for another administrator this week and will make an offer at the beginning of January.
Our current city administrator has indicated his willingness to stay. We're grateful for that until we can find his successor, with the emphasis is that we won't be forever in doing that.
Macomb residents are seeing more repairs around the WIU campus. Additional sidewalk repairs near the blue emergency light between Tillman and Memorial Halls began earlier this morning. The WIU Landscape Maintenance says they anticipate the work on the affected portions of the sidewalk will take about 2 to 3 days. Other repairs will also be made this Thursday to the sidewalk in front of the College of Fine Arts and Communication recital halls. Pedestrians will need to use alternate routes and are asked to proceed with caution while the sidewalk is closed. Local businesses in Macomb are opening their doors for a shopping spree. Macomb Area Chamber of Commerce is hosting this year's Shopping Blitzen on Thursday. 21 local retailers will be offering different specials from 2 in the afternoon to 8 in the evening. There will also be a chance to win a big buck giveaway worth $350 in gift cards. To win, you simply purchase or dine in at any of the participating locations and get your Shopping Blitzen card marked. The cards will be found at participating retailers or at the Macomb Area Chamber office.
A local college is now taking a financial hit due to the state budget impasse. Spoon River College President Kurt Oldfield announced a budget cut of $1 million. President Oldfield said the college has been making cuts over $1 million with the exception of staff since 2012. The college's operating budget is just under $10 million. The community college has partnered with WIU to make the transition for students easier. SRC Outreach Center plans to relocate its Macomb campus to its East Jackson location, but cannot do so until the budget impasse is resolved.
Macomb residents will be honoring veterans this week. WIU will be screening Letters Home to Hero Street at 6:30 tonight in the Sandberg Theater. This documentary shows the personal view of World War II through the letters Frank Sandoval sent home to his family in Silvis. Anyone can attend. And the mayor's office says Chandler Park will be displaying the flags of love tomorrow for Veterans Day. They will be up from 7 a.m. until 4 p.m., and it will be the last time they are displayed this year. Mayor Mike Inman and the Flags of Love community are encouraging everyone to help honor all veterans. And because of WIU being a veteran-friendly school, it has moved up 3 ranks from last year for Best for Vets College. A media release from University Relations says the university went from 18 last year to 15 out of 175 schools this year.
Illinois not often a stopping point for presidential candidates, but the land of Lincoln saw 2 Republican candidates hitting the campaign trail. Ohio Governor John Kasich in Chicago and the current GOP frontrunner Donald Trump in the state's capital. News 3's Danny Fry reports from Springfield.
You're going to see the man, now get the pin. $2, 3 for $5.
Merchants greeting Trump supporters all around Springfield's Prairie Capitol Convention Center in advance of his Monday night arrival.
They're selling and promoting Donald Trump. Is there a certain reason why?
He's different. A wild card in the campaign.
A lot of things in the media are being said about Donald Trump, really leading up to the hype of this event, and everybody has a reason to be here tonight.
I really think that he's got a very realistic goal, and it's very straightforward.
He speaks the truth, and people don't like to hear that all the time.
Like that wall in Mexico, I'm all for that.
And I think the public's tired of politicians that have been bought and paid for.
Among the droves of supporters, some protesters, and even outright supporters of other campaigns.
Donald Trump's a real showman, and he's great on TV, and I think he's funny, he's comical, and I like to watch a good clown in action.
Sometime during Trump's speech, a few very vocal Bernie Sanders chanters were booted.
Get out of here!
Trump had his usual talking points, but said what most can agree is at least one undeniable fact.
This is a strange election, isn't it? Man!
His speech did include an appeal to youth voters struggling to find post-college employment.
Our students, they go to college, they do well, they borrow money up to here, they get through and they can't get a job. And what has the country done? They've given jobs out to everybody else.
Trump left the record-sized crowd in Springfield with what's become his signature line of the campaign.
And we are going to make America great again.
Believe me, I promise you.
Danny Fry reporting. The Center for Public Integrity has released the results of an in-depth study regarding the accountability and transparency of every state government in the nation. Nicholas Kuznets of the CPI says the data for the study was gathered by experienced reporters all over the country who were guided by specific questions and indicators. It gave state ratings in 13 separate categories like public access to information and budget processes. The results of the investigation are shocking. Kuznets says the highest overall integrity score received by any state was Alaska, with only a 76.2 out of 100. All but 15 states received a D or lower.
I think it points out really what's lacking in most states, which is modernized access to information. You know, a lot of public records laws are decades old now, and as the years go on, they just sort of get bloated with more and more loopholes and exceptions.
While Kuznets says major reform is rare, he hopes the investigation will give citizens a better idea of how our states are run. Illinois ranked 13th in the country with a total score of 67 out of 100.
How students are reacting to recent racial tensions on Missouri's campus. Hear from the Mizzou president of student government next.
And a traffic death on the NIU campus leads to the arrest of 3 men. What they're being charged with ahead.
Stories. They happen everywhere. At NEWS3, we go the distance and tell them firsthand. Across the region.
The tornado tore through a neighborhood in Washington, Illinois.
Across the state.
Here at the state capitol in Springfield for the gubernatorial race.
Across generations.
We have a lot of people that are very dedicated. We're all volunteers.
The stories that inform us. The stories that move us. The stories that matter from a fresh perspective.
Don't worry, the 74 people were picked before me in the NFL draft.
To fight childhood obesity, United Way and the NFL are helping kids play more. To donate or volunteer, go to unitedway.org/play60.
Now I get it.
My favorite thing about WIU is how much we work as a team. Everyone here has helped immensely, and when we work together, the outcome is amazing. Producing for the newscast, writing for the newscast, going to city council every Monday. It's something that I've learned that it takes a team. There's no such thing as an I. If there's an I, then we know that something's going to go wrong. I really do believe WIU has prepared me for the outside world. I can't wait to see where I end up. I have to thank everyone that has been involved. You know, Jasmine Creighton, she has managed to help me overcome that scary part. And the way that you have a great show is not the content that you have, it's the people who you work with. And here at WIU, I have had a chance to work with some excellent people.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Now from Macomb in high definition, you're watching Emily Manley, Brianna Descoret, Storm Team 3's 5-day outlook, and sports with Aaron Sutira. Live at 4 continues.
The president of the University of Missouri system has resigned due to the pressure from protests against racism on campus.
Tim Wolf announced his resignation at a special board of curators meeting on Monday.
The chancellor for the flagship campus, R. Bowen Lofton, also announced he will step down from his position by the end of the year.
This came after a series of protests on an investigated racial incidents occurring on the campus. The week-long protest led many faculty and student organization groups to demonstrate walkouts and uproars. Protesters say the resignation is a small, important victory.
The University of Missouri is by no means a bad school. What we're seeing right here is that students are empowered to speak up about what is happening here, and it's empowering other students around the nation to speak up about what is happening on their campuses as well.
3 men are charged over the weekend in connection to the death of a Northern Illinois University student.
Police say Michael Keelhack, Montgomery, and Thomas Quirk, all from the Chicagoland suburbs, allegedly sold LSD to the 19-year-old sophomore Timmy Okanida. Police say they believe it led to the death on September 26th when he fell from the 11th floor of his residence hall.
Keelhack and Montgomery were NIU students at the time when they were arrested, while Quirk turned himself into the police. University officials say he wasn't a student. All 3 men have been charged with 2 counts of unlawful delivery of a controlled substance and since posted bail and released. Keelhack and Quirk are expected to go back to court this Friday, while Montgomery is scheduled on December 10th. Coming up on Live at 4, News 3's Nicholas Stewart gives us a look at our 5-day forecast, including tomorrow's potential for severe weather. Stay tuned.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours.
Dr. King, what's your next move?
In March from Selma to Montgomery.
Selma is loud for every man, woman, and child.
We will not wait any longer.
In front of a crowd.
Mine eyes have seen the glory. Glory, glory, hallelujah.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and frustration a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy and giving up impossible. I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought and unconventional methods common. I'm a teacher. I make more.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly changed ours.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
It's the calm before the storm here in Macomb. We're sitting at 59 degrees at this hour. The dew point, though, sitting only at 32 degrees. Very dry conditions out there, and it's going to need a lot of work overnight to get that humidity value back up for the storms tomorrow, but it's looking very likely. Again, we're getting these warmer temperatures fueled by that southeast wind blowing in at 8 miles an hour. Looking across the Midwest right now, very quiet. You don't see really anything at all. We are basically predominantly under the influence of the high pressure that's off to our south and east, but very dry conditions, also very warm conditions for this time. We're looking at temperatures in the mid-50s, in some cases even as low as the lower 60s. The satellite radar composite, you can see just how quiet it is across the entire Midwest. Tri-state region, we've been basking under most of that sunshine right now. This is going to change very much over the course of the next 24 hours, especially tomorrow evening. It's going to get very interesting. Tonight, we're only going to drop down to about the low 40s, again, above average for this time of year, but we're going to notice this low pressure center well off to our west. That's going to really start gathering some strength. It begins moving toward our area. Again, for tomorrow, it's going to get very, very strong. Looking at temperatures in our area into the mid to upper 60s in some spots, but behind this, much cooler temperatures being basically building in. And ahead of this, we're going to be fueled by some very strong southerly winds, so a very windy day before the storms even get here. So more about the storms. Again, here's the Storm Prediction Center outlook. We're looking at this enhanced risk, this orange area for severe weather that might be upgraded as time goes on. We're looking again the chance for some isolated tornadoes and damaging winds as our primary threats tomorrow. Looking at the wind shear values, it's off the scale across Illinois. We're looking at very, very strong wind shear, which is very strong for tornadoes. But the limiting factor is going to be that instability. We're looking at very low Cape values across our area. But looking at the Futurecast radar, we are expecting thunderstorms to begin developing around 11 o'clock in the morning, begin traversing into our area and entering us between about the 4 and 6 o'clock time frame. Looking at the simulated rain accumulation, you can see these isolated tracks. Isolated storms are going to be very likely tomorrow afternoon. Again, just a summary, 3 to 8 p.m. tomorrow, again, damaging winds and isolated tornadoes. So that's the main severe weather threat. For tonight, we'll get down to about 48 degrees. Again, that southerly wind moving in. Tomorrow, again, those showers and thunderstorms, high about 62 degrees. Looking at the 5-day forecast, though, once we get past the storm system, the conditions really begin to dry out. Temperatures into the 50s, with lows into the 30s in some spots. But again, begin drying out as soon as the severe weather threat passes us.
So you're saying it's going to be a little crazy.
It might be a little interesting out there, just to say the least. I don't know how much an umbrella is actually going to help you, just given how much wind or how windy it's going to be tomorrow. So.
Yeah, well,
Well, thank you, Nick.
Thanks, Nick. Coming up in sports, after going 3-3 in conference play, the Leatherneck men's soccer team may have found themselves advancing to the Summit League tournament. The Leatherneck volleyball team played their last game at home Sunday against Oral Roberts, and the Western Illinois football team traveled to the Fargo Dome in North Dakota to take on the North Dakota State Bison. All that and more coming up next.
Hey everybody! Heart disease affects 1 in every 3 women in America, but you can fight back. There's no time to lose. Mothers, sisters, daughters, families, and friends, it's time to shout louder, stand stronger, and demand change. Let's go!
To the Batmobile. Dang it.
To the invisible jet!
Dang it.
Together, we can put an end to heart disease. It's time to go red for women. I could use your help. Learn more from the American Heart Association at www.goredforwomen.org.
Which planet are we living on? Right here.
What do you think it would be like to teach? Chances are, you have no idea.
We're going to turn the lights and everybody look up.
Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places, and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable. That's what it's like to teach.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
What did you want to be when you grew up? Now, how do you make it happen? Think purple, think success, think Western Illinois University.
Welcome back to Live at 4. 1 week later, after the conclusion of play in the regular season for the Leatherneck men's soccer team, they find themselves as the 4th seed in the Summit League tournament. Leathernecks will travel to Denver, Colorado to take on the top-seeded Denver Pioneers. Omaha and Oral Roberts, also contenders in the tournament, will play in the other semifinal game. Both games will take place on November 12th. Western versus Denver will kick off at 8 p.m. and can be available to watch free at denverpioneers.com. And the championship game on November 14th will be also available on ESPN3. The Leatherneck volleyball team had its final game at home Sunday afternoon as they took on Oral Roberts. Let's go to Western Hall for the highlights. It was senior day as the 2 seniors recognized were Jordan Jackson and Peyton Crosser for the Leathernecks. And to get things started, it would be the Golden Eagles as Morgan Bullock's shot right there is blocked right back down, and Oral Roberts would go up early in the first set. And later in the first set, Western down 13-6. It's Lexi Kolszewski. She'll get the serve here, the set, and she'll spike it right back down for the kill for the Leathernecks. Then we'll move to the start of the second set. Western down 1-0. Carney Charisma getting the kill for the Golden Eagles, and they continue to roll for on Western. Western trying to come back here is Abby Skird with the serve, but Sadie Schaefer gets the kill for the Eagles as they keep their momentum up. Later in the second, Western down 21-15. Abby Skird sets it up for Peyton Crosser, who paints the back corner with the kill. Western would win the third set, but lose in the fourth and final set, 25-16. Leathernecks would fall to the Golden Eagles 3-1 overall. Their season is not over yet as they will be on the road to take on Fort Wayne tonight at 6 p.m. and Saturday will take on South Dakota State for their final game at 7 p.m. After going 2-0 in the preseason exhibition games, the Leatherneck women's basketball prepares for its first game of the season this Friday night against Central Methodist. Come out to Western Hall to help the Purple and Gold start their season off with a bang. Tip-off is set at 7 p.m. The Western Illinois football team traveled to the Fargo Dome in North Dakota to take on their conference rivals, the North Dakota State Bison. Let's check out the highlights from the deafening Fargo Dome There's a lot of fireworks in this one on the North Dakota side of the ball, that is. First drive of the game for the Bison. Easton Stick steps back to pass, and he'll find Zach Vera, who jumps over Riggs Braxton. And I think that catch even made SportsCenter later that day. The Bison would take an early lead, 7-0. Western's second drive of the game, Trenton Norvell's pass gets intercepted by Pierre G. Tucker and taken 36 yards for the Bison touchdown. Next play on offense for Western, Norvell finds Lance Lenore. He'll get the catch, but the ball gets stripped right from him, and that would lead to a field goal from the Bison to put them up 17-0 in the first quarter. Start of the second quarter, Easton Stick again would find a wide open R.J. Udowitzki in the end zone, and the Bison would go up 24-0. Moving to the third quarter now, it's King Frazier here. He'll take the handoff, and the King will move right up the middle for the touchdown for the Bison. The Leathernecks had trouble stopping him all day. Western's only sign of life came a little too late here as Norvell goes deep to Lance Lenore, who hauls it in for Western's only score of the game. And in the end, the Leathernecks would get steamrolled 59-7. They traveled to Indiana State this Saturday to try and stop their 3-game skid. Kickoff is set for 12:05 p.m. This is kind of a must-win if the Leathernecks want to actually make playoffs this season, guys.
All right, well, thank you, Eric. Coming up after the break on Live at 4.
Local cats and dogs in need are given a chance. That story ahead.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Crack yellow.
Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. Go to discovertheforest.org.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
The Humane Society of McDonough County wrapped up its much-anticipated Bricks Lindahl Challenge this month, and they're calling it a huge success.
Donations made during the month of October were matched up to $1,000 by HSMC supporter Chris Bricks, as well as fellow animal lovers Tate and Sharon Lindahl. Patty Nemick is with the HSMC. She says fundraisers like this one are crucial to the efforts of the Humane Society since they operate solely on donations.
The HSMC reports that the challenge raised over $10,000 this year. Nemick says that money will be used directly for initiatives like spay-neuter programs as well as foster and adoption programs.
It's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, tomorrow's definitely going to be a very interesting day in the weather department. Take one more look at the severe weather forecast for tomorrow. Again, an enhanced risk for severe weather. That orange shaded area in Macomb is included in that. Damaging winds and possibly some isolated tornadoes are the main threats. One quick summary again, 3 to 8 p.m. is the main period of time that we're going to be looking at these hazards. Again, damaging winds, isolated tornadoes. Just want to make sure that you are prepared for the chance for severe weather.
Appreciate it. That's all from us today, but you can stay up to date with us all the time on Facebook. Search NEWS3 WIU.
For Nicholas Stewart, I'm Colleen Judge.
And for Eric Sutera, I'm Brianna Descaray.
And for all of us at NEWS3, have a great evening.